Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Wednesday, July 13th. Oh, just a day before Bastille Day, Mark, and they were setting up all the stands in Paris for that. Thank God I'm not there for that. Really. And you'll be happy to know that we are well into our groove. We've got our groove back, and that means we want to hear from you. If you've got a financial question, just go to the JillOnMoney.com website. Click the Contact Us button. Let us know if you'd be willing to come on the air. While you're there, why don't you check out all the cool stuff that's there? Anything new coming on the website, Mark? Oh, yeah. I got to get my book stuff to you. I think that we finally got the actual PDF of the new cover, so it'll look good, really good. New book coming out. Very exciting. Jan of 23, but you can pre-order it very soon. You know how much I was talking about the bike ride? It's going to shift into the book. So we're going to go bike ride to book, and I'll be shilling for that for a long time. I'm sorry to tell you guys, but you know what? We'll still take your questions. You take priority. Today, we are talking to Jersey Jack. He's from New Jersey. Jack, welcome to the program. What can we do for you?
Oh, hi, Jill. How are you? I've been listening to the podcast for several weeks now, and I was actually very curious to reach out and explain a few of my circumstances and then get some guidance.
Okay, first of all, what do you mean several weeks? You never found us before this? How'd you find us?
I like to do walks along the boardwalk and so forth, and I've just recently had gotten involved in listening to a number of different podcasts, and some of them related to my alma mater, some of them related to retirement, and I came across yours and have been very interested since.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, and we appreciate that. So, Jack, what's going on? How can we help you out?
So a little background information. I'm 59 years old, retired federal employee, about 37 years or so. I currently work for a major government defense contractor, so I'm quasi-retired, shall we say. My wife is 57, and she's been self-employed for about 20 years now.
Wow. So wait a second. You're a retired federal employee, so you have a pension right now?
Correct, yes.
And how much is that?
That's $60,000 a year.
And as the government contractor, how much are you earning?
About $220K.
Whoa. Oh, my God. And then your wife's self-employment, how much does she earn?
Per the book, $60K a year.
Okay. That's a lot of cash, man. That's good. And so what do you think you need to live on out of all of that moolah?
Based on the analysis that I've done over the years, I'm going to say probably about $13K a month. I use $15K in a lot of the calculators and so forth I do because there are expenses that we're going to have to incur when my wife closes her business because, there's some shared expenses and things like that there.
Okay, very good. And as a government contractor, what kind of retirement plan are you using through that income? Because obviously the pension it's on its own. But what about the 220? Are you making any contributions to a retirement plan?
Yes, I have. I have the standard 401k thrift savings plan through my federal employment. And then I have another 401k that I started with my current employer, which is currently a traditional.
How much is in there right now in the current traditional 401k?
Okay, so just so I know which ones we're talking about here, in my 401 TSP government, it's about 1.5, $1.6 million.
So 1.5, 1.6 in the TSP. Your current retirement account
is about 45K.
Does your wife make contributions to some sort of retirement plan through that self-employment income?
Yes, she has a traditional IRA and a SEP, which is about $250,000.
Combined. Okay, got it. Money in the bank?
I have about non-retirement funds. I have about 225 in a brokerage account. I got about another 125 in bank accounts. 75 and a 529 for one of my daughters who's just going to start going to school next year.
Rutgers, I hope.
You bet it.
Very good. How much does Rutgers cost in state?
I will say that it's probably going to cost me about $100,000 less for her to go to Rutgers than some of the other out-of-state schools that she was looking at.
But that's not exactly what I asked.
Okay. How much does it cost? About $25,000 a year?
Okay. So you still have a little bit. And is that your only child attending school?
Attending school, yes.
Okay. And you said next year, right?
Yes.
So you can pay for, obviously, you can pay for some of this out of cash flow because you have the cash flow, right?
Yes.
And okay, good. So that's pretty much we'll spend that down, and it's taken care of for her college, which is great. What other assets? How about a house?
I have two properties. I have a primary residence that's worth about 1.2, $1.3 million, and I owe about $125,000 at 2.5%. I got about 5 years left.
You have a vacation home or a rental property?
I have a rental property in New York City that's probably worth a little shy of, well, it's about 900K, and I get about $3,000 a month rent, and my expenses are about $1,000 a month.
Wow. Is there a mortgage on that rental?
None.
And you plan to keep it? Is that something that you want to do?
Right now, I think that I kind of look at it as like a chip right now going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to keep it simply for the rental income, but there's some different options as far as whether to possibly sell it and use it for some retirement funding to pay some other things. I have one of my daughters that has a little chunk of student loan debt based on some additional schooling she planned, and a few things that we have had the first time around. So that's one option. I got, between the three girls, we have marriage and all these other things to worry about and so forth. So there's a
You know
lot of
what?
different
You don't have
options.
to worry about that. They have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying, man? Okay, wait. You got three girls. How old are they all?
28, 25, and 18.
Wait, 28, 25, and 18. Is that what you said?
Yes,
Okay. Who has the debt, 28 or 25-year-old?
28-year-old,
How much debt is there?
about 80K.
All right. So 18-year-old going to college. So we have that. What do you think is like the game plan for you and your wife in terms of retirement and when you really think you're going to step back?
My game plan has always been to retire when my youngest gets out of college. Now, that may include some type of phased retirement or something like that, but that's been kind of the strategy. I don't expect us to downsize too much if my daughters stay in the area because we're a very close family. So I think we enjoy the house and the different facilities and things like that in the
Mhm.
area. So possibly purchasing something as a second place or renting down in Florida, because I've become to like the snowbird concept more and more as I get older.
Mhm. So you're saying like at age 63 essentially, you'll be done or at 63 then scale back?
I would say more likely like 64. The question I might have is probably trying to wait until I hit my full retirement age at 67 before I pull any Social Security out,
Right.
because there's a large difference there.
Yeah. What's
Um,
the 67? What's the full retirement benefit?
it's about 40K a year.
So you got the 40, the 60 from the pension, and then you got this other, let's say 25-ish from the rental property. So
Yeah.
you got a
Plus
lot of
my
money that's coming in.
Yeah, plus my daughter will, excuse me, my daughter, my wife will probably be getting somewhere around 20, 25K in Social Security as well.
So we're getting pretty close here on the money. So that sounds good. What else do I need to know about this situation? Do you guys have like old life insurance? You got estate documents? You got long term care? What's going on and the other stuff?
Okay, life insurance, we're pretty well set. I have about $2 million in life insurance on me, 700K on my wife across different federal employee retirements, current employer retirements, third party. My wife's got a little whole life thing, so I have a strategy with respect to that. Estate planning, I got all my wills, living wills, powers of attorneys, things like that. The biggest thing is I also have a special needs trust and New Jersey Able account for my middle daughter who is disabled.
Okay. Got it. Oh, and so you really did. You've gone that route. You've had the special needs trust. You got it established. So that's good. So how does that? How does her presence in your life in terms of retirement? How does that influence your decisions around retirement?
Well, that's the main concern or question I have. I can't necessarily just go off of just basic numbers as much as making sure I have all my bases covered for her because the strategy right now, while we don't have guardianship for her, I foresee her to be financially and socially dependent on us for the rest of our lives. So I've done things like, for example, I've gone ahead and declared her through my federal employment to be eligible for my health insurance coverage after age 26.
Okay.
So between that and Medicaid, she's well covered there. I need to learn more about as she progresses older and so forth. But the question is, I think she's going to be living with us, so I'm going to need to account for not only my, getting through my life, but then what do I need to
Her
do to
life.
lessen the burden on my other children and make
Right.
things comfortable for her.
Right. And what about the other girls? Like, should we be really thinking like, look, she's the number one priority and we've got to make sure she's got enough money and that whatever is left after that would be available for the other two? Do they know that? And is that your intention?
I think the two of them, based on how well they've done through their lives so far, I'm comfortable with respect to their independence and growth. So I don't want to say if anything, is more important than everything, but not only is taking care of my middle daughter important to her, but obviously is important to them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So for
Mm-hmm.
different reasons, for
Yeah.
various reasons. So that
Um,
I would put it that way.
okay. And they're close. And so that's good. So what you are sort of considering is, let's just make sure we back up. You got all this money, which is great. You've got the house, great. You need to keep the house to make sure she can live with you. Do you think she will need some care that you would need to pay for? Like, for example, today you're 60, you're fine. But in 15 years, does she need more care that you would not be able to provide?
That's kind of one of the challenges. She's very high functioning. She's got a part-time job, but I think there's always going to need to be some assistance there based on how well she's been doing. I'm anticipating that to be less and less, but there's the unknown there.
Okay.
So I think the answer to that is yes, but at a smaller amount, more from making sure that she has the housing and whatever
Right.
additional daily supports and so forth. But
Okay, so big picture, you have the 60. You guys will have Social Security of, let's call it, another 60 between the two of you. So you have 120 coming in. Okay. And then I'm not even including the rental for a second because I do think you may want to have that rent. You may want to sell that rental. You have then 1.5 million, 175 to, so you've got just over $2 million in assets, invested assets, right? And then you have the 900,000 in the rental. I mean, look, the rental income's okay, but 900 grand is a crap load of money. And to say to yourself, like, after expenses, I'm making 25 grand on 900,000. It's not like a fantastic yield. It's not like do you know what I mean? Like, so it may be just, especially in this scenario where you might want to free up cash, that this could be something that's a good thing to sell. And I'm just saying, maybe if you are looking down the road at 64 to 67, you know what this argues. This means that those 3 years, you're going to need some extra money to spend. And look, if you have some free cash flow now and you want to help out your oldest daughter with some of that debt, that seems fine to me. I don't see like that doesn't seem like a bad thing at all. If you want, I mean, you've got more money than you need right this second. So how quickly do you think that you'd like to start helping your 28-year-old?
I would like to do that this year. The one of the questions is we're kind of anticipating that we'll be hearing wedding bells in the next couple of years or whatever it is. So there's some questions there as far as where to help or where we can help. I'll put it that way.
Well, I mean, look, you can help, but you're going to have to pull back on putting money away in retirement. It's just going to leave you less money. So again, knowing you have that $900,000 asset that you could pull the trigger on at any time makes me feel more comfortable saying, like, sure, go spend some money, or don't save as much money in your current retirement account that has $45,000, and then just like pull back and say, all right, I'm not going to put as much money in there. Just think of it this way. Between now and age 64, in these 5 years, you've got two big bills. One is potential wedding, and two is paying down that debt, right? And whatever extra money 18-year-old needs for college. So you just need to come up with that money. So maybe it's just that that maybe your pension right now that you're receiving, you say, all right, for the next 5 years, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to pay down the debt and sock that money away for a wedding.
The only thing I don't have that I think is the biggest question is long-term care insurance.
Do you really need it? Let's think about that, because you'll have a pension. Is your pension a survivor, or is it just based on your life?
No, I have a survivor. She gets 50%, when
Well,
I pass.
presuming, okay, so if you can liquefy that asset of the apartment, then you don't need it. If you keep that asset, then you might need it. So if you're always willing to sell the rental, then you're fine. Then you don't need long-term care insurance, because then you have plenty of money. You're sort of in that, like, I've got more than $2.5 million and I'm self-insuring. If you want to look into it, you can get some base coverage. It's just a god-awful amount of money. It really is. But I don't think you need it. Mark, do you think they need long-term care?
My insurance policy is that apartment.
I know. That's what I keep thinking. So I like that apartment. I don't really think you need it. As long as you're willing to sell that apartment. That is the ace in the hole, if you will.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And no house. You're not buying a house in Florida, by the way. You can rent. That's fine. But no buying a house. No. You will not be owning 3 residences. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Unless you say, I'm selling Jersey, we're all moving down. You, your wife, and your daughter are moving to Florida. Then it works. But you're not doing that. You just said you're not going to do that. Go rent a place for a month.
No, I was entertaining a just a condo unit or something like that. But
what do you mean just a condo unit? Do you know how much that is? I need you to have liquidity. You cannot afford, in your situation, you cannot afford to take a chunk of your money and pop it into some dopey condo in Boca West where you're like, oh, it's nice to be a snowbird, and I don't have that $600,000 that I need for you. You hearing that? That's
no,
the dream
I'm
crusher. Again, you tell me you're going to sell the apartment and you're saying, oh, I'm going to buy a really cheap little place in Florida for $300,000, which you can't find anymore right now anyway. And I'm going to take the other $600,000. I'm going to put it in with my non-qualified money, my account. And now I'm going to have $825,000 in there and I'm all good. You don't have enough liquidity to take a big hundreds of thousands of dollars out of this current situation and buy another place. You just don't. If you want to replace one of those illiquid assets with a different illiquid asset, I'm okay with it. But be very careful. Liquidity is your friend. You are young. You are not planning for 35 years of your future. You're planning for 35 years of your future plus another 50 years for your daughter's future, right? So we got to be careful. Did I bum you out?
No. I'm okay with that. I really was thinking about getting rid of, if I was to do anything down in Florida, I would probably be doing something with either selling or significantly downsizing one of the other 2 properties.
All right. Fair enough. Then we're on the same page, man.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're friends again. Anyway, thank you very much for calling. I hope we helped you. You got all your estate stuff done, and give us a holler back if we've missed anything, okay?
All right, great. Thank you very much.
All right. Good luck. Thank you so much for discovering us and giving us a call. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I look forward to listening to more.
All right. Excellent. Jersey Jack live here at the Jill on Money Show. If you would like to join us, just go to jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. Let us know if you'd be willing to come on the air. Mark does everything else. Don't forget that we've got another broadcast. It's called Eye on Money. You can check that out as well. Okay? So do lift someone up today. It will make that person feel so good. It will make you feel good. It's the metaphorical hands on your back. It makes you feel loved and cared for. So do that right now. That would be great. Grit, growth, grace. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.